binomial distributions with a very large sample size. You guys probably knew this, that in statistics, the larger the sample size that you have, the more people you're
The more people are in your sample size.
surveying, thank you, I forgot the word, for like the questionnaires and whatnot, the better, the more reliable your data becomes. You guys have heard about that stuff before? Yeah. Right, or it's kind of like, if I went through and did a survey of, let's just say, yeah, you can do that. I mean, some people, I think, but you know, there's a lot of things. But what happens here with binomial distributions we're looking at today are basically just going to be two possibilities: success or failure. Okay. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. It's like a yes or no question. So, excuse me. What we do here, I think kind of the easiest one to talk about with this is to use it in terms of, we remember I said this yesterday about the UFOs?
They're real.
Well, we talked about UFOs.
Everything's a UFO.
And
I see a frisbee outlook that is UFO.
Right. Yeah.
okay, all right. Well, let's say that there are little green men on the UFO. Literally on it, not in it. They're on it, kind of. They're flying through the air.
It's unlike
surfer dudes from Hawaii picking up
Or it's Teen Wolf when they used to surf on top of a van.
wild kids.
Movie reference. Have you never seen the movie Teen Wolf?
TV show.
Oh, there's a TV show? Oh, okay. Teen Wolf was the guy, what was his name?
Is that a list?
He was in Back to the Future.
Did he happen to
Oh, yeah. I can't remember.
Marty McFly. Parkinson's. Yes. What's his name?
Gerald.
Michael J. Fox. Which is funny that he played a wolf because his name is Fox.
Oh my
Is
god.
that on the list?
I don't know if it's really on the list. It's one of those weird movies where he was in, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I love that movie.
Shut up! I got really excited about the reference here.
I love that movie so much.
All right, so, what's the guy's name? The bully.
Oh, the bully. Francis.
Francis. Now, didn't you, Pee-wee?
I know.
He's in that movie. He's in Teen Wolf as a basketball player because that's what they did. There was a high school basketball team, and Michael J. Fox used to get really angry, turned into a wolf, and then he got really good at basketball. I don't know. So they kept. It's like Air Bud with basketball.
But Air Bud already has basketball.
No, Air Bud was soccer.
No,
There's an Air Bud for every sport.
There's an Air Bud
Wait.
for like every sport.
There's like Air Bud puppies for Christmas.
And I will tell you that Air Bud
Air Buddies,
Soccer
oh my
was the
God.
worst movie I think my family's ever watched. My kids loved it. I was going,
Did you watch
We watched Air Bud tennis.
Imagine just like trying out the back.
I feel like it's the best meme.
all right. Back to Teen Wolf because we got to get back to Teen Wolf. So in Teen Wolf, you were talking about surfing. Well, they thought it was cool to surf on top of a moving van.
That's so cool.
It was really safe.
Yeah. I mean, there's like 50 courses.
And then all of a sudden, there was a bunch of problems of kids going down the road, standing on top of cars and dying because they saw it in the movie. So people were like, "Don't try this at home." That's a lot when that came out. Anyway, back to this success. So you either lived on top of the van, down by the river, or you died by falling. See that time back? I'm all over.
Oh my god.
Live on the van.
So
It's too much for coming back on the beach.
anyway, so all right, let's do this question here. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 29, We'll call it 30. He'll probably be here in a minute, right? He's probably getting coffee. So we'll say we got 29 of us in the room.
Yeah, it's totally stressful.
We're just going to make a survey up real quick. And what I'm going to say is the question at hand is a simple yes or no. Do you
Yes. I do. I do.
Do you think that team will?
Do you think that there are other life forms? Yes. You say no.
I'll
Bad.
now?
The Earth is flat.
Pi is exactly 3.
Is water wet enough?
Simpsons reference.
Yeah, no, I got it. I get it.
I had one yesterday that you would have totally got. What was it? I'm like, oh, where's the sure got it?
I'm sorry.
It's all right. So what happens here is what I'm saying is like alien life form. Okay, there's something out there that eventually, maybe sooner or later, someone's going to find. Now, I want to go intelligent life. I'm going to say intelligent life because bacteria. I'm sure there's got to be something of that such. So obviously, who knows?
They do.
So, yeah, they do. There might be one of us walking around like this now. We might be from a
friends.
It's me. That's
Maybe
why I
they're
draw
in the
your
same boat as
references.
us and they have no idea.
Eric, I don't remember.
So we're gonna do the old-fashioned heads-up 7-Up version of this, and that way nobody can be skewed or swayed by your friends and/or enemies watching what you're. Yeah, I saw that one was in here yesterday. That way you're not skewed by somebody else sitting near you going, "Think there's aliens? Loser," something like that going on. So put your heads down, cover your eyes. We're gonna make this a blind ballot. That wasn't very nice. We're gonna make this a blind ballot so nobody can see who's voting for what. So put your head down. And I would like you to raise your hand if you believe that there is going to be intelligent life somewhere out there. And keep your hands up there so I can count. All right, put your hands down. And then raise your hand if you believe that there is not intelligent life somewhere out there. Okay, thank you.
Eric.
So, of the 29 of us,
Yeah, why did you just subtract the first part?
shut up, Sawyer.
Have some math classes.
Sawyer, what do you think I did?
Why do you think the second one was so much quicker?
Sawyer.
Shut up, Sawyer.
Hey Sawyer, what do you think I did the first time around? I counted the ones without up and I made it sound like I was counting more.
You just
Didn't even actually wink, you just opened your eyes.
So, of the 29, we have yeses and no's.
Eric said no.
Eric's a smart.
I didn't look.
Everyone bully Eric now.
They already do it right.
Nope.
We're gonna fight him now.
I was
Not nice.
I was skewed.
The people who said yes.
Saying that's a 3.
You're right, because 29 subtract 26 is?
7.
Wait, so that's
success or failure?
Hi.
Which one? The question was, do you believe? So success was believed.
I do.
Now, so that means the probability
Yes. 26.
So if I calculate that,
Mr. Murphy, what do you think is accurate? I don't think
Hey.
there's 89.
stop popping your gum. So we're going to round this and say it's 0.9. we're just rounding to say 0.9, 0.1. I know it's 0.895, so it's close enough for us. And what we want to do here with binomial distribution, what you can do is, what is the probability that we randomly select two people that they will believe in a UFO? What is the probability that we select at least 4 people that they will believe in a UFO? What is the probability that I select one person that doesn't believe in UFO out of the sample size given those percentages? And that's where this idea of how binomial distribution will work. Excuse me. What we look at here is, in the textbook, and we'll come back to these numbers here in a second. In the textbook, they talk about independent trials. Each trial has a possibility of success or failure. Probability of success is the same, probability denoted by p, so we're going to use this lowercase p for those percentages, that decimal. Failure is just the complement of 1 minus what you were saying a second. We did this, got out of thing, we did this, blah, blah, blah. So there's this crazy long-winded formula for finding probability of successes with binomials and stuff like that.
That's should we write this down?
No,
Okay.
because there's a but.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
There's freaking 3 S's. No, 4 S's in that.
So there's a button.
There's a probability of stuff.
What we do here is, there in the calculator, there's this thing, there's one of the many different types of probability statistical things that it can do. It is a thing called Bino PDF or a Bino CDF.
PDF?
Yes, there is a Bino, I'll show you where to find it.
I can be a PDF.
So, because it's binomial distribution, it's not a rhinomial distribution.
Rhinos are so much cooler.
They are. Having a horn is pretty sweet.
I think they're all
What if
dead
they
now
were
though, so
cross-eyed?
Not all of them.
most
There's
of
a
them.
couple of them.
I think the white rhinos are actually going almost extinct
There's
now.
like-
Like there's no males left or something.
Yeah, they were guarding him for.
And then he
like,
just died.
Yeah, he just died.
Yes,
Anyway, so you have these two things called a Bino PDF and a Bino CDF on your calculator. Let me show you where you find them. You hit the button that says second bars.
What?
Large.
Mars.
It's next to the clear button.
That rhymes with Mars.
Where the little green men are from. Maybe Marvin.
Oh. It says
Marvin.
binomial.
Marvin.
This says binomial.
And go and scroll up, and it's option A or option B. Bino PDF, Bino CDF. And I'll explain the differences here in a second. Binomial PDF is for finding an exact value. Like I said, if I wanted to figure out what's the probability of of having exactly 3 of us believing in UFOs. Bino CDF is it sums. It's a cumulative distribution function. It'll sum from 0 to whatever number you say it to. Okay. So if I wanted to find what's the probability, excuse me, what's the probability of at least 2 people? It would calculate what's the probability of nobody, probability of 1 person, probability of 2 people, and so on. So that's what that one does. And it's a very, very easy thing to do. So if I wanted to figure out, we have our number of people. We had 29 in the class. We said the probability of success was 0.9, and I want to figure out what is, what did I say? Having 3 of us. Okay. So what this means is we get the number of trials, a probability, and a k-value. Hello, Loftus! What's up?
Learning something, stop.
Hey! What's going on? All the kids, we're here to learn! What are you guys doing? What are we doing?
Oh, I don't know how to do any of this. What is this?
Oh, yeah, no.
Shut up, stats teacher!
Yeah, that's Binapoleon.
I wanted to combine these.
Napoleon, yeah.
This is poison.
Woo!
Very useful.
Actually,
Poison. It's poison, but that's not it.
It's French for fish.
No, poison was a Belle Biv DeVoe song. That girl is poison.
Oh,
I was thinking
No?
of.
I
No.
know it.
You're missing some kids.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, that's yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You still have 50 chairs, and you can get a few more in here.
What are we doing?
We could combine this class with Reyes's class.
Yes. You guys want to learn geometry?
No.
Yes.
I think there'd be a lot more yeses. I thought there'd be a lot more.
Going back to geometry. That was my
This is what we're doing today?
Did Wesley do this?
No.
This looks like his new handwriting.
Just
Go ahead and the trophy.
I know, that's
Oh, that one. Oh, shoot, I left my quizzes somewhere. Sweet Lord.
Oh, if I look at it, it just says, what is the favorite food? And I'm gonna- What's our favorite food? The tortilla. A tortilla.
The tortilla.
The tortilla. There's
Oh,
only one
wait.
tortilla.
While you're here. We're doing it.
I thought we were actually gonna learn today, but I guess not.
Oh, okay. I already saw this.
I have a sandwich waiting.
I don't know, just wondering.
Alright, so one and done, or am I going through the whole deck?
One and done.
One and done.
Now we got
Okay, that
time.
makes
What do I get if I win?
Our admiration.
Nice.
Maybe like a
Hey, you might be able to sell that for
Would
about
you
$1.
do that? Or is that just a lie?
No, I would do
Some
that.
students lie to me.
Wait, you do?
Some, not all.
All right, Junkins.
Yeah, he's guessing cards.
Oh.
I'm guessing a card.
Oh, yeah.
Alright. Oh, we can all do it. Closest wins.
All right.
Okay? Arm shot to the loser. Alright.
Okay, I want to play this one.
So don't show it until we all say it. I'm going to go with 3 of hearts.
3 of hearts. Okay.
Alright. Totally not gonna
9
arm
of spades.
But
Pick a
Long
card.
toss.
why?
He's going to put limits on your board.
No, I'm not.
Yep.
Oh, he's still.
3 of hearts, 9 of spades,
Pick
and
one.
Yeah.
guess a card left out.
Ace of spades.
Queen of
Oh.
clubs.
No one, no
It's
need.
probably the closest. The ace was high. And then a black suit.
Yep.
Yeah, but I guess threes are lucky, and
Forgot
so
about
are
that.
spades.
Oh, that second one I would have really close on.
It is.
Oh, are you going until the first one gets run? Sure. Okay.
Go. Anyway, so if you hit the button that says enter,
Yeah.
it goes through the list of what things mean.
What'd you guys? Thoughts on?
What?
What did you guys?
Yeah.
I said 9 of spades. Eight's close enough.
No,
That
we're
was the
looking
second
for the
card.
first card to show up.
Why is my screen all fuzzy? What? You keep touching my cord. What are you doing?
I don't know for that magic trick.
No, the cord right there. Because that's why it's
It
flickering.
goes like this. Pick a card. I got rule this. Okay, look at it. Show the class.
All right.
Okay. Card back. No, I don't know. This is the part of the trick. Alright. I don't know how to shuffle, so this is gonna be tough. But yes. Let me put that back where this is.
What, on the top?
Uh-huh.
I don't think you were supposed to say that.
This is good.
No, 4 times.
4
3
times.
times.
No, the trick is 2. Do it
Twice.
twice.
3 times.
3 times, lady.
5. Oh, look.
Is that your card?
I don't know, I can't see it.
It's part of the trick.
You want me to flip it?
Yeah, so I'd like you to grab it. That was the trick. There's no trick. You just smash the cards on the back of the head. Got hit by that one 8th grade. literally did it.
Run, lock, toss, run.
I don't know what he was doing.
What just happened? I think we just get randomed a lot in here.
I'm gonna miss this spot.
That's true. Anyway, so here's what this means.
Okay, yeah, okay.
It's my favorite.
What those things mean in your calculator is trials. It means how many are in the sample. Okay, so in here we have 29. The p-value is the percent, so we put 0.9. And x, think of it as your expected value. how many do you want to get? I'm looking for what's the probability of having exactly 3 of us believe in.
Very small.
Okay. So if I put that in, what did I say, 29.9 and 3. There's a way of pasting this into a histogram by sending it to a list and everything. So now it'll go in your, it'll go here, and then guess what you press?
Enter.
Enter.
Second.
Ah.
No, not the error.
That's a very small number.
Yeah, it seems weird.
It should be 0.1.
Excuse me. Now, because you're looking at the distribution through on that one. Now, if you look at it, because it's skewed because of the 0.9. Let's go to the one they have in the text. We use the textbook uses a 37%. Okay, it's a little bit easier to kind of with 1 and 3, you know, ish. It's a little bit easier if you start thinking of it as a little bit smaller value. Now, with this one, suppose you randomly survey 6 adults. What's the probability at 6 of them, or excuse me, that exactly 2 of them believe that UFOs exist? So in this case here, it's a binomial distribution. It's the Bino PDF. You have 6 people you're sampling. You want to do a 0.37, and you want to have exactly 2. Now, what's nice is that once you get one of them in your calculator with that Bino PDF, just go back up and overwrite. It's easier. So we have 6. Hey, if you want to know where the comma button is, it's right there.
There's a comma button?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right above the 7.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, a little bit much.
And what did we say we wanted to have? 2?
I wanted to have 36.
0.37.
You did it wrong.
Oh, sorry.
How dare you?
But yeah, you get the idea. What we did is we randomly selected 29 people, and with a probability of 90%, what was the thing of having 2. So if we would have sampled it down a little bit easier, with the numbers wouldn't have been so astronomically small. So that's what a PDF will do. A binomial PDF will find the exact value of something. The CDF will do the sum. So if you look at one, I think they had one. What if it is the CDF? So if we do a, what happens if I want to say at least 4? What would be the probability of at least 4 people believing in UFOs out of 6? What's that? This is where you do CDF. When you see at least or at most, we're going to do CDF. Now, what a CDF does, a binomial CDF, what's that?
Kill it. It's a bug.
It deserves to die.
Spider-ish? It's a tick.
Oh, no.
Ah, the noise.
Caps in front.
I was very tired.
Where's our mascot?
Our mascot and like.
Ah! That was gross.
Yeah, it was.
I think that might have been a tick. I don't know what it was. Anyway, so a binomial PDF, what it does, it sums. Oh, I meant CDF. What a binomial CDF does is that it sums from 0 to whatever number you say. Okay. So when you do at least, that means that x is less than or equal to 4. 4 is the highest spot, and it's going to go from 0 to 4. At most, we have to do something different. At most is when we'll use the complement of it. All right? So if I want to figure out what the CDF is, all I'm doing is I'm pressing the exact same style buttons here, but I'm going to choose the CDF version, not the PDF. So second, bars, and then B is your bino CDF. Bless you. So let's go back. Second, bars. Because it's, I don't know how else you pronounce it. Is it bears or bars?
Bars, but now it's not.
So we had 6 adults for 6 trials. We had a p-value of 0.37. and I wanted our x value to go up to 4. So this will count it from 0 up to 4.
Wait, what?
Math.
Not the other one.
No, PDF does the exact. A CDF, think of it as a cumulative distribution.
It's just how the question worded.
Yeah, it's
Like if it
it's-
says exactly this, yeah, and it says at least or at
yes,
most.
and when you go through there, yes, ma'am. No, because we're finding it. Did I say it? Oh, I wrote it as at most, didn't I? I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I said at least. I meant at. All right, at least. I wrote this backwards. At least would have been this. I'm sorry. Good morning. They got me all screwed up with their whole
Second time I messed
randomness.
up today.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if that's
F.
Well, what happens is that this one is going to count it from 0. Well, let's see here. We have 6 trials. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What a CDF will do is it will count up to some value, whatever you tell it to. Now, if I want it to be at least 4, that means it can be 4, 5, or 6. So I can do a PDF of 4 plus PDF of 5 plus a PDF of 6. Or, if I do the complement would be 1 minus the CDF of that. So I would do the CDF of 3. Okay? Because of the word at least. At most, I would just do the CDF of that value. At least, I do 1 less. Okay? So if I do the CDF of this, let's see here. So I had 6 trials, hit the negative, 0.37, I do a 3. Yeah, well, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can just do the CDF first and do 1 minus your answer. It'll work. And get 14.14. Now do the complement of that. Okay, so what I'm doing here is this. I do a 1 minus a bino CDF of what we have. It was 6.37 and a 3.
Okay, yeah, I got it. 0.
One of 2 ways to do that. You just put the bino CDF in the calculator and hit enter, and then just do 1 minus your answer, or do 1 minus the bino CDF. Either way, it'll work out just fine. I personally just do the CDF first, and then I go back and then I do the subtraction out of it.
So it says at least.
At least you do the complement. At most, you just do the
So it'll
value.
be 1 less than like
Yep.
that, and then 1 minus that. Okay.
Yep. So for bino PDF, it is exact value. Bino CDF sums, or it counts it up from 0 to whatever n value you give it. So for at least, whenever you have at least, your n value that you put in the calculator, so you had your trials, your p-value, and your n value. For at least, it's going to be n minus 1. Okay, so if it's 4, and it's an at least, you put in 3. If it's in at most, so this is when your n is greater than or equal to some number. At most is when your n is less than or equal to some number. It's going to be your trials, p-value, and n. And that's the goofiest of the way this works. Okay. And then if you do the at least, you're going to put in the. Oh, did I put trails? Trials, sorry.
No, both of them. Trails is my favorite. Wait, why'd you put one?
When you do your at least, you do the complement.
I thought that's what the n minus 1 is.
But remember, it counts it up to it. what it does here with the CDF, when you do a CDF, so let's say we had that a second ago. It's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. A CDF will count from 0 to whatever number you tell it to. If I say where I want n to be, they use k, I think, in your book. Your k value is going to be greater than or equal to 4. That means I want to figure out what is it for 4, 5, and 6. Well, I can type in bino PDF of 4 plus bino PDF of 5 plus bino PDF of 6. These are just 3 of them. It's not a big deal. But let's say this went all the way up to 12. I wouldn't want to do that. So what you can do is the complement. So the opposite of counting all of these would be 1 minus this. Okay. So the CDF will sum you from 0 to whatever number you tell it to. So that's why whenever you have the greater than or equal to's, you do 1 less and 1 minus. That was weird to say. 1 less and 1 minus, whatever. Let me show you an example in terms of how they write it sometimes in the book. The right one.
PDF.
There's a few PDFs, not too many.
Are you one of those people that has like 80 tabs open at once?
Can you see this little bottom bar?
Is, oh my god.
I have way too much stuff open. That's more fun.
You can just access it quicker.
Yeah. I know where everything is.
That's all that matters.
Kids with their, I know where it is. Don't-
So in this one here, the way that the textbook writes it out is that they have your k value, an n value, and a p value. The n value is your number of trials. Your k value is what you're searching for. So when you put it out in parentheses, you've got your bino or whatever, either the PDF or the bino CDF. The parentheses stuff is always the same. Okay? It's the it goes trials, which is n, and then it's your p, and then it's the k value. And it depends on what it's looking for what values you're going to throw in there. That's the order and how you put them through. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, because that's when you're looking at sums. Okay. Exact value. Yeah, if I'm looking for, I've got 20 trials, I want exactly 4. If they use this with, oh, I know, real easy one, manufacturing. The probability whenever they randomly select light bulbs for testing, if they know that the probability of a light bulb not working after it's been manufactured is like 0.2%, and they want to figure out what's the best time to start doing, this is when they start using this type of testing. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. How big of a sample size do they have to use? And this is where all the statistical stuff gets into play with this stuff. So if I look at 26, 26 is I want greater than or equal to 3 for number of trials of 5 at a 20% success rate. Now that means all of these 4 are all CDFs because they have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. Remember what this means. You have 5 trials, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you're looking for that k value to be greater than or equal to 3. So if I want it to be greater than or equal to 3, I'm looking for it to be successful at 3, 4, and 5. You okay with that? If I want it to be successful at 3, 4, and 5, that means I can do a PDF of 3 plus a PDF of 4 plus a PDF of 5. Not a big deal. Or I can sum 0, 1, and 2, and then subtract that from 1, because it would be the common. That's where this comes from. So what I would do is I would do a CDF, and I know it's a 5, It's a 0.2, and I want to start with one less because I'm going to count it at 0, 1, and 2. I'm going to figure out what that answer is. I'm just going to overwrite my CDF that I already have up here. So number of trials was 5. My p-value was 0.2. Is that right? And then I have to do it, it was up to 2. And delete out that. And I'm going to hit enter. So that is the sum of 0, 1, and 2. I need to do the complement of that to get 3, 4, and 5. It's just weird when you start looking at why there's all these different formulas and things that you would use to do with this. It's just as it goes in. Try some of these here. On what page is this? Let's go. What is this? 742. I did not PDF this yet. I will have that up here in a minute because I didn't anticipate having to do it until I realized that we're extra day here, so this is something not too terrible. Let's try source page 742. Let's go 12 through 34 evens, 36, 37, 39, 41. It is quite literally a lot of buttons. If you flip a coin, what's the probability of success? Okay, that's how you figure out that. If you randomly guess, I love these questions about randomly guessing multiple choice answers. If you have A, B, C, and D as your possibilities, what's the probability of success? You have 0.25. Oh, I thought you said 20%. Like, I didn't hear the 5 part.